Good afternoon, everyone. Nathan here from All Properties Group. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just. That should be better. I had my laptop in the background, which had sound on, so that wouldn't have been good. But I wanted to jump on today because we've been talking a lot about the marketplace, and you're going to hear me tomorrow in the wrap up talk about it a little bit more. But I wanted to bring some facts and some figures because I've been doing some research towards the sales in the areas at the moment, predominantly on the Northern Gold Coast. And the question you would have seen in the headline is, has there been less properties sell on the Northern Gold Coast? And to be quite fair, and you're going to see this in just a minute, the answer is yes. There's been a lot less houses sell this winter versus the winter previous in the last 2 years, and potentially further back if I were to keep going. And the real question mark lies as to what does that mean for spring? We know that spring selling season usually means an influx of stock and brings with it an influx of buyers. But you're going to see from this that historically on the Northern Gold Coast, it hasn't had the same sort of effect, and that could make some changes for spring this year. So I've chosen 5 predominant suburbs on the Northern Gold Coast to have a deep dive into and have a look at today. So we've got Pimpama, Jacobs Well, Upper Coomera and Coomera, as well as Ormeau. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to give you guys some stats and talk about what that might mean, especially if you're an owner in the area or you're looking to buy a house in the area or whatever it is that you might have some interest in. If you're in other suburbs around the Gold Coast, you want to get some more information about what's going on for you specifically, please get in touch. Feel free to comment along the way. I'm happy to answer any specific questions. But let's start. So winter in Pimpama. To give you an idea, winter this year to date, so from June 1st to now, there's been 97 houses or units or apartments or built properties taking out land. We're not talking land in any of these stats. There's been 97 sales. Now, during COVID, which there was an increase versus the normal, so last year there was 227 sold in the same period. So we're more than half less than last year. And in 2021, there was 149 sales during that time. So that's a big difference, 149 to 227 back to 97 for 2022. That's a significant change. And we're going to see that that's probably not going to be much different for the remainder of the year. And then we go to Jacobs Well. Now, Jacobs Well predominantly has always had very low volume, and that's kind of continued. But in 2020, there were 30. 2021, there were 28 sales, very consistent. Last year, there was this year there's been 10 sales only in Jacobs Well. 1/3, 30% of what's been selling on average in the same period over the last 3 years. 10 sales in an entire suburb, right? That's insane. And that's usually low. 28 to 30 sales for a quarter, so the whole winter is low in general, let alone to jump down to 10 for a whole suburb. So we'll come back and circle back to Jacobs Well. Ormeau, 2022, so this year, this winter, 42 sales so far. Last winter, 130 sales, 42 to 130 last year. 2020, there was 79. So we're sort of not that far behind 2020, but 42 sales in the quarter is quite low as well. In Coomera, similar, it's a big drop there, 78 sales so far this year, 195 last winter and 173 the winter before that. That's pretty dramatic as well. And then Upper Coomera is very similar. So 100 sales this winter, 198 last winter, and 178 in the winter of 2020. So that's big, right? Obviously, the interest rates have made a huge change in the property market in regards to the buyers' dynamic, the feeling that buyers have, the confidence levels. Now we're starting to see the confidence return as large banks start to lower their fixed rates, where they were quickly increasing them beforehand, and now their expectations of interest rates have changed. They're now lowering their long-term fixed rates, which is bringing back confidence instantly. So we'll watch that very quickly. But let's talk about spring. As I said, spring selling season, everyone knows it. A lot of people are talking about it. What it usually means is that there's an influx of stock on the market because people like to wait for this time. It's always been known as that. Gardens look beautiful. Everything's manicured. The marketing always looks sensational on every property during spring. And then we got buyers who want to move from interstate to be on the Gold Coast ready in time for summer. We get a big influx of that as well. So let's go back through, right? So during spring last year in Pimpama, there were 245 sales, which is interesting. That's only about 17 more than winter the same year. Just keep an eye on that. Usually there's about a 20 house increase, right? So not a huge increase in Pimpama. Jacobs Well last year was pretty big difference. Well, not really actually, 32 in spring last year versus 28. Ormeau 120 last year in spring versus 130 in winter. Actually a decline in sales in Ormeau, which is interesting. Coomera 219 in spring, 195 in winter. It's modest increase there. And Upper Coomera 215 in winter and 198 in spring. The big question mark is there has been an influx in stock already during this winter period around the Northern Gold Coast, especially in these parts. If we're going to see an increase in stock again in spring, what does that mean? Yes, we're getting an influx now of buyers coming back into the market with some confidence. Investors are taking advantage of the best opportunity they've had in a lot of years for positive geared investments. So far on the market right now, Pimpama has 134 houses or duplex or pre-built homes on the market right now. Jacobs Well, 29 properties. Ormeau, 108 properties. Coomera, 174. And Upper Coomera, 172. And it's not even spring yet. So with days on market blowing out, it's the big thing that we need to watch from here. We've obviously had a decline in the market. What we want to see is some stabilization. If we see those numbers increase dramatically and there's been still a lack of movement in the marketplace, still slow numbers of sales, we're going to see more properties on the market with potentially too many to service the buyers, which means that we're not getting that real push, that urgency from buyers to buy properties. So if you're considering selling, I think that really means is you need to be hitting the market now. If you're in a position where the only thing you're waiting for is the spring selling season, or potentially just waiting for a little bit longer so that your settlement needs to be shorter when you do sell, take advantage of what you have an opportunity of now and sell the home. Talk to an expert real estate agent in your area about your situation. There's ways around everything. I was talking to a lady today who wants to buy in the same location, the same suburb, but due to health reasons needs a smaller home, but needs to sell in order to buy. She's been told to sell once she's found somewhere, but it has to be subject to sale. Well, we know that the competition in the area she's going to has never and probably will never allow subject to sale clauses. So giving that advice that you can either take a longer settlement date. We've got the ability to be flexible now. If buyers want to buy the home, they'll wait 30, 60, 90, 120 days to move into a home if it suits them, which allows a seller more time to find a home. And with an influx of stock coming, no doubt in my mind that if you're selling now, an opportunity is going to come very soon to buy a home. If you have any questions, please tune into tomorrow's live video as well, 9 o'clock. Ask any questions in the comments or send me a message. Happy to answer there. And if you really want to have a conversation about your own private property, if you're looking at selling, you're doing renovations, or you just want to know what you should be doing preparing to sell soon, 0407 760 435. My number's just there. Give me a call. Look forward to talking soon.